So we are here today on our podcast, Accuracy Matters from 360 Precision. Today I have a very special guest with me. He is a pro shooter in the Precision Rifle Series, PRS, hails from Martinsburg, Pennsylvania, has a 6 years or so experience in the PRS competition shooting environment, finished first overall in the Northeast Regional of PRS and fourth overall in the nation in PRS. This year, the 2025 season, and took 10th place at the finale. During the year, he won 3 two-day PRS matches during the 2025 season. With me here today, I have Ryan Beck from Beck Built Rifles.
Yep.
And thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And,
thanks for having me.
Can't wait to hear some of the stories. So today we're really going to be focusing in on accuracy, of rifles, gunsmithing, and things that we both share in common, as well as just the competitive nature of shooting in a competition and kind of what goes into shooting in a competition and kind of the stories that come out of shooting in a competition. Most of them are pretty funny.
Yeah.
And we have a great time. It's a great time. We were at dinner last night talking about just the overall camaraderie that comes out of shooting with. I mean, honestly, I go to some of these matches just to hang out with friends. Yeah. It's more sometimes just about that than anything else. So
absolutely,
we have our cheers, little drink.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
That's good.
I'm a bartender on the side. If anybody needs to hire
your bartender skills there.
I do want to give a shout out to Kobe Fryer, who is my consigliere tobacconist that always hooks me up with the best cigars. So this is an Atabey. I'm a big fan.
I'm getting a lesson in culture.
Yeah, we're trying to up Ryan's culture game.
I'm just a redneck from the sticks. Yeah.
So we'll make sure he gets a good lesson while he's here at 360. So thanks everyone for joining us with Ryan here today. Amazing year for you overall. It's always so funny. I was talking to him after you had won or came in fourth, and you were disappointed that you came in fourth.
Yeah.
It wasn't first. It wasn't good enough for him.
Yeah.
Which is great, from a competitive nature, right? We always want to be first, but we're talking about thousands of shooters that compete over the course of the year. Right. To come in fourth, to me, is quite an accomplishment. So
yeah, I mean, I went into the finale tied. I think there was 6 guys tied for first with a 300, and the match was in PA, so
right.
My home turf, and I'm thinking, I got a great chance of getting the golden bullet this year, and so coming in fourth is like kind of a letdown. But I had a bit of a rough day on day one. Like my third stage, I dropped 9 shots in one stage, so that's hard to come back from. But day 2, I dropped 3 all day. So day two was an awesome day for me. But and so by the end of the match, I knew I was shooting well on day 2, and by the end of the match, I was like, I can't be mad about, like, I obviously disappointed, but yeah, like I can't be mad about where I finished. I'm super happy. Anytime you can finish top 5, even top 10 in the series, what do you got to be mad about there? So
yeah, 100%. It's also, I've always found that most people shoot well on day 1, and day 2 is not their good day, right? They always right. think that, I shot so well and everything's going to be great. So normally you see a lot of guys shoot really well day 1, think everything's great, and then they come in day 2 and it's a dumpster fire. Yep. and they end up losing. So coming back and keeping that mental focus during, kind of, you shot bad, you had a bad stage, keeping that focus long term over 2 days is quite an accomplishment, to say that day 2 was the day that I really did well at.
Yeah, and I think I kind of transitioned from being a day 1 shooter to being a day 2 shooter in the last couple years. I feel like I kind of get the bugs out in day 1 like I got some issues on day one that
The
I
nerves.
kind of work through, and then day two I'm like on fire. You know what I mean? So kind of a little bit different dynamic now in this part of my shooting career, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's interesting. So how did you step back? Let's step back and just talk about get into shooting, start shooting. When in your life did this become something, and then when made it to transition into the competitive side of things?
yeah, so I mean I hunted when I was a teenager with my dad. I mean, started at 12 years old hunting deer and loved that. And then it kind of got to the point where deer hunting in PA was like, it used to be great. Like you'd see tons of deer.
Yep.
And probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years after I started hunting, it was like, there's no freaking deer to shoot. You know, so you go out and sit in the woods for hours and hours and days, and you don't shoot anything, you don't see anything, and it just sucks, right?
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed shooting. And, you know, when I got into college, I bought my first AR-15, started like just shooting with my buddies at the range, and that kind of got old because you just go to the range and you shoot paper, you shoot, you know, milk jugs and blow them up, and, you know, the whole thing.
Right.
And that got kind of old. So then we started getting into pistol competitions. So we started shooting like USPSA and IDPA matches.
Yeah.
There's a local club, Hollidaysburg Sportsman's Club.
Okay.
That's like a half hour from my house, and we'd go down there and shoot competitive, you know, pistol matches. They did USPSA and IDPA, so we could shoot like every other weekend if we wanted to. So we started doing that. My brother and I and Ryan McCullough and a couple other guys, and you know, that was like our thing for probably 3 or 4 years.
So you did that competitively.
Yeah.
And you were shooting in that.
Yep.
I think Andrew Makos started the same that same path.
Yeah,
right?
I know he's
doing pistol first and doing a lot of pistol stuff, and then
he's a pretty good pistol shooter.
How were you? Were you good? Good at a pistol?
I could hold my own. I never like chased the points in that.
Yeah.
I was not like a member or anything, and didn't like, you know, I never tried to be grandmaster or anything like that. It was just like kind of I wanted to be a proficient pistol shooter.
Right.
Just for like self-defense reasons, and obviously it's fun too. So, you know, it's never a bad thing to be a good pistol shooter.
Right.
And that helps with like, we shoot sniper matches now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have that foundation of pistol shooting that, like, there's a lot of guys that shoot precision rifle that can't shoot a pistol worth shit.
Yeah, well,
so
you know, the first match that I did up in Mifflin, we had that pistol stage.
Right.
That was the funniest thing ever, watching guys pick up a Glock almost sometimes for the first time, and trying to shoot an IPSC at like 10 yards.
Yeah,
and they're missing.
Yeah, and it's like,
they're missing the shot.
How do you not hit this thing?
Put it out at 1,000 yards, give them a bolt action rifle
Right.
for ding, first shot.
Mm-hmm.
Put it 10 yards away from them with a pistol in their hand, and they're missing the shot.
Right.
They can't even hit it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where the whole competitive shooting thing started, and, you know, from there we got into 3-gun for a while.
Okay.
So there was like a couple ranges within an hour of my place that we could do 3-gun shoots.
3-guns.
And I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like addicted to it.
Yeah.
I like back in 2010, 2011, my wife bought me a precision bolt gun.
Okay.
Like it was one of those Remington 700 AAC SD, like the 20-inch 308,
Yep.
put a suppressor on it and all that stuff.
Man, you got a good wife there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So she takes care of me. I mean, I'm gone all the time shooting matches and everything, and like she just lets me go. I mean, it's I can't ask for anything more there. So she's very supportive of my
It is
addiction.
quite a dedication. I've talked about this numerous times about the amount of time that if you want to be at the level that you are, the amount of time that you have to spend.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get into a little bit later about some of the other things, but the amount of time you have to spend, it is a immense commitment to shoot it to be at the level, right? Because there's a lot of guys out there all trying to be number one.
Yep.
Right.
It's like a lifestyle. It's not even a, you know, if it's a sport that you dabble in or something that you play around with, you'll never I don't think you'll ever get to the top level of the sport. Like you have to live it.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
I mean, I consider myself a good shooter, and when I went to I shot one match this year we talked about last night, and it's amazing to me how poorly I guess I competed. And again, it wasn't because it's so much more than shooting, right? We kind of went into this.
Yeah.
There's so much more that goes into when you're in a competitive environment. You can be a great shooter, but now there's things that you're figuring out. Knowing how to set the rifle, which positions to go to, order of position, all the various things that go into competition really make that a almost maybe 50-50 mental game versus shooting game.
Oh, I think it's more than that.
I think
it's like 80-20.
Yeah.
Mental, physical. I mean, as soon as that buzzer goes off, your IQ cuts in half.
Right.
If you've ever competed, same thing with pistols. Like, the USPSA game is super fast paced, and you got to shoot the targets in the right order. As soon as that buzzer goes off, you're like, oh shit, was it this target? Like, you skip targets. If this was like a real world situation where you got 5 bad guys to shoot, you miss one of the bad guys and then you're dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's like as soon as that buzzer goes off, all bets are off. Like, your brain
your mind goes blank, and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do again? I'm here shooting a rifle.
Right. Yeah. And I think, that kind of goes in. I've never been in law enforcement or anything, but you get these people that judge law enforcement officers for, they shot somebody that they shouldn't have or whatever. Like, you have no clue what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, just being in the competition world, you realize how much, like, adrenaline you get, just the pressure of the whole situation. Like, your mind doesn't work like it does when you're calm.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole different world.
And a shout out to all the law enforcement guys out there, because I know, like, we're sitting there, we're not in a life and death situation.
Right.
We're just in a competitive points situation here.
Yeah.
And we all know how that affects us. Now you have somebody coming shooting back at you.
Right.
Right. So military, law enforcement, all that.
Yep.
Next level for those guys.
100%.
Makes you appreciate what they go through.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah,
aspect.
I can't imagine being in that situation. But yeah, so I got my first precision rifle in like 2010, 2011.
Okay.
So again, we me and my buddies started with just shooting steel targets. Like, we'd go find a place to shoot and just set up a steel target and try to hit it, and just fell in love with that. Like, all the ballistic calculations, and I'm an engineer, so like that kind of stuff is like, I nerd out on that, you know what I mean? So that was like a big passion of mine, and then it got to the point where that kind of got boring, of just going out and shooting at a target that is, it's just one target, you're shooting at it 50 times. It's like, okay, this is getting too easy. So then we get, again, my buddy Ryan Beck, one of my best friends, went to college with him. There's a range local to us called Reed Range.
Okay.
And they do F class up there.
Okay.
So we go up to, he signs us up for a match up at Reed Range. And so we go up to Reed Range, and at this point I had a custom rifle I bought from my buddy Paul Cunningham.
Okay.
He owns Base Camp Guns, which is where I got started in gunsmithing and stuff. So I take this rifle up, it's a 308, and we show up to this F-class match, and we're running suppressors, and you come to it, like, we don't know anything about F-class at all. I guess
Right.
Ryan shot one match before this, so he kind of had an idea of the match flow and stuff like that.
And F-class, just for everybody, is prone.
Yes.
Right. Simply prone, no movement from you, the shooter.
Right.
Right. And you're shooting a target at a specific distance.
Yeah, we were shooting a 600 match, so I guess they call it short range or
Yep.
medium range or whatever. So you're laying prone. There's probably, 10, 20 guys laying on the firing line. Everybody's shooting all at the same time. You get, I think, 20 minutes for 20 shots.
Yep.
You do 3 20-shot strings. You're just shooting at a bullseye. They have electronic targets, so you can kind of see where you're hitting. Like, you take a shot, you look at the electronic target, you can see it. You get sighters before you start shooting for score.
Right.
So
you get your wind call.
Yeah, you can get your wind call, you can get your dope on, all that kind of stuff. And then you say, okay, go. Then you start shooting your 20-shot string for score.
You have a long time limit, right? I think it's 5 minutes.
I think it's 20 minutes.
That's 20 minutes, okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. So we go up and, we have suppressors on, and they're like not not cool with suppressors. Like I don't know why you can't have a suppressor, you can't have a muzzle brake. Which I get the muzzle brake because everybody's laying,
everyone's
right
laying
beside each
down
other.
and blowing everybody else out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they ended up letting me shoot with the suppressor. So I, shot. I think it was a 589 and 19 X's. So you got your X ring, your 10 ring, 8, 9, 8, whatever.
Each circle gives different points.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So ended up winning the match. First time ever shooting a long range match.
They're like, why did we let that guy shoot with a suppressor? I knew that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Somehow that suppressor gave you the competitive advantage. Wasn't you, it was the suppressor.
Yeah, right.
That's what it was.
Right.
That's what I'm going to take from that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they were very happy to...
to lose.
Yeah, right.
To the guy that just walked on and they decided to let him shoot with the suppressor.
Right. So from there, we're like, okay, that was cool, but let's find something a little more challenging. So
this is check, done. Moving. What's the next?
Yeah. So again, Ryan McCullough found Southington Hunt Club in Ohio.
Okay.
Matt Steiner was the match director out there.
Yep.
And they were shooting PRS out there. So he finds this PRS match, and like we don't know anything about PRS. And Ryan's like very analytical, he's very prepared. He's my sniper match partner too.
Okay.
So great partner. Like he's our organizer. He very good at that kind of stuff. So he sends like 50 questions to Matt Steiner. Like
I'm sure that made Matt's day.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, he loved that.
He loved that day.
I think he was like, I think he sent like, I don't know, maybe 10 questions. Matt answered them all in an email. And then he sends like 10 or 20 more. And Matt's just like, just call me. Just call me. Like, there's so much here. So anyway, we end up going out to, it was the PA-Ohio border war match.
Yeah.
So there used to be a bunch of PRS in Ohio and a bunch of PRS in PA. So like we would have like a grudge match between the states, like all the PA guys and all the Ohio guys, and then you'd shoot the same match, but they would just take the scores from each state, and then whoever wins the points wins. Right?
Yep.
So that was our first match ever, and it was awesome. Like I was completely hooked at that point.
Yeah.
We shot. They ran the same match 2 days in a row.
Okay.
So I shot it on Saturday and took like, I don't know, 58th or something like that, and then shot it again on Sunday and took like 10th on the second day. So I'm like, all right, I'm
getting better.
I can see that I can improve at this, and I loved it. So that's what kind of started it.
So no training. You didn't go to any of the training classes for PRS style trainings at K&M or anything. You hadn't done any of those.
No.
Okay. So simply, again, just go in and see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Just
hey,
we were talking with Joe Gentili, and one of the things that he said, that's how he did no official, even though he was in the military and had training on rifles and so forth, but never to like going into the PRS style world and so forth. And he just went in and went up to Mifflin and started just figuring out different distances and shooting, like visually knowing, like at that point he didn't even really know that much about dope and his elevation on his rifle and so forth. Mm-hmm. He was just figuring it out because he had always done iron sights in the military for all their qualifications. So that was funny, just going up and you just oh, it's this elevation, you write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I did this at 500 yards and so forth. So it's
and that's such a big part of the game. Like you can't go into a match not knowing your dope, or you're gonna completely fail.
Yeah.
So we had that down because we had been shooting for years, just like setting up targets and trying to hit them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's so addictive for me is like it's such a practical skill, because if you want to go out and shoot a game animal at 800 yards, like you gotta know your dope, you gotta know the wind, you gotta know all that, or else you're gonna miss. I'm not much of a hunter,
or you're gonna hit and not make an ethical shot, take a good shot. Yeah, that's right. That's not what you want to do.
Yeah. So I mean I think that's kind of what draws me to it. I don't even hunt or anything, but if I ever wanted to, I have the skills to do it. At any practical range. So, but yeah, it's I don't know. I just love the whole long range thing.
So would you say that that's the like what you enjoy most about the competitive nature of it is the attention to detail, or like what really drives you to the competitive? Like again, F class wasn't where it was at for you. Pistol wasn't where it was at. What like this is what your brain? I know in my brain it was here in steel ring.
Yeah.
Just to me that was like a half mile away or whatever,
Yeah.
1,000 yards. You hear that ring and it's like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
I have to do this every day for the rest of my life, type of thing.
Yeah, because you take a shot and then like 2 seconds later you hear the bullet hit the steel, and it's just like, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I mean, anybody that's done it understands, but if you haven't done it, you should do it because it's a special feeling. Like you can hit a target at 700, 800, 900, 1,000 a mile, whatever it is. It's not easy to do, but once you understand how to do it, it is easy to do.
Yeah.
Well,
I tell everyone, so many people ask, what's the, how hard is it to shoot a 1,000-yard target? I said, it's not hard. If you can shoot 100-yard, then you can shoot 1,000-yard.
Right.
If I put you on the rifle and I dial your elevation, I give you everything, the wind call and so forth, if you can make a good trigger pull, if you can just make a good trigger pull with the right rifle and everything else is dialed in, you're going to hit that target. I mean, I tell people I don't care if you're a decent shooter, within 3 shots, I can put you on at 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that with a bunch of people. They're like, really? You think? Like I have a buddy that Sheldon Weaver. He's got a piece of ground on the side of a mountain, and he took he bought an excavator, like a giant excavator that you have to bring in on a tractor and trailer, right?
Yeah.
And just like tore up the whole side of this mountain to put a range in.
Just to put a range.
So that's where I go true my ballistics up and stuff. And he has a target at like 1,200 yards that we shoot at. And I take people over there every once in a while, and they're like, I've never shot past like 300 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm
on the East Coast,
I'll put you on that 1,200 yard target in 5 shots or less.
Yeah.
No problem. And they're like, really? Yeah. It's not that hard.
Not well, particularly again. Then you leave, and then they try to come back and try to do it themselves,
Yeah.
and then it's a dumpster fire for them. I know when I have been to training when I was first learning and doing the training, like they take us through and like, oh wow, I can hit 1,000 yards, and then they go, okay, it's free time, like you can kind of shoot and do whatever you want to do for the next 20 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes as we're taking a break, and everyone starts getting on, and no one can hit anything. Everyone's miss, and it's like everyone just a minute ago was hitting all these targets, and now because you had your instructor behind you giving you all of the information and all the feedback and telling you exactly what to do, and it's not that hard. It's kind of like when that buzzer goes off, like all that mental goes out the window, and you're just like shooting, and you're like, why isn't it impacting? And you're right. It's a lot of a mental game at that point.
100%.
What do you enjoy about the PRS series? Over there's a lot of other series. I mean, we've talked about the sniper series and so forth. But what drives you to the particularly like the PRS precision rifle series matches?
I think part of it is like the fact that it is a series, and you kind of get to see where you stack up against other guys in the country. And it gives you something to work towards, rather than just like shooting one match and then that's it.
Right.
There's a whole point series associated with it.
Culminating in the finale at the end of the year that you shot.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have your regional series and your pro series. Regional series is 1-day matches typically in like we're in the Northeast region, so I guess it'd be like New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Ohio. I think that's
There's a New Hampshire match, isn't there? Or is that a 1-day? That doesn't have 1 day up there. It's a 2-day match.
I think that's New England though.
It's New England. Okay. Yeah. When they get up there. Okay.
Yeah. So you can compete in the regional series against all the guys in those states, and then there's a points series for that. So if you're just getting into the sport, you can just shoot the 1-day series and kind of get your feet wet, and then see how you stack up, and then you can go to the pro series, which is countrywide.
Yep.
There's a match almost every weekend. You can go anywhere in the country and shoot.
This next season, I think there's multiple matches on a lot of weekends too. I mean,
yeah,
it's gotten to the point that you get any weekend there is a match going on.
Yeah.
Somewhere in a PRS match going on somewhere in the country, and some weekends there's 2 matches going on in the country.
In 2025, there was several weekends with 2 matches.
2 matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's grown tremendously over the past 6 years.
Yeah.
Since initially starting with Shannon Kay taking it over from Ryan Castle, and now Ken.
Yeah, Ken Wheeler.
Wheeler's the new director. It has grown exponentially over the last number of years.
Yeah, it's awesome to see what they're doing with the sport. They're getting Ken's vision to grow the sport. I think is great. He's got a ton of industry people coming in. Like he started the suppressor division this year in 2025.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of new suppressor technology out there now, like the Recoil X brake. You got the Maverick. There's all these suppressor companies out there doing all this cool stuff with suppressors. I mean, a big part of the game is recoil reduction, and when you take a shot, you got to know where it goes, because you don't have a spotter telling you if you miss. If you don't see it, you don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
Right. So, recoil management is a big part of the game, so that you can see where your shots are going. And with these new suppressors with the brakes on the end of them, now you don't have the muzzle blast that a lot of guys get headaches from muzzle blast and everything.
Yep.
So that's a huge growing part of the sport right now with suppressors. Like, there's a lot more people now shooting suppressors than brakes.
Well, we'll hope that next year, now that the price is going away for a tax stamp, we'll
Yeah.
get even more. I will say personally, I shoot suppressed. You shoot suppressed, right? No, you don't shoot suppressed.
I don't.
In competition, you don't
shoot
suppressed.
brakes. Yeah.
You shoot brakes.
I mean, I have like 15 suppressors. I love suppressors, but it's always been
Stay
for
on
me.
glass.
Yeah, like I want as little recoil as possible, so I can see what's going on. But with the new suppressor technology, I just bought another suppressor, and I'm planning to dabble in that a little bit next year. I might switch to suppressor. I don't know. But,
It's definitely I think I've talked about it in the past to other people, but it took me, when I switched, I don't even know, I want to say maybe 3-4 matches before it really started to become more like natural running with a suppressor, because it's definitely different. There's a completely different impulse.
Yeah.
Right. So when you come from one, like, I don't even feel like now, I think I would become worse if I went to a break. Not that it's not right, or just it changed.
It's just different.
It's
Yeah.
different. So now it changed. Now I have to get more accustomed to this impulse, feeling this impulse after I take the shot, even though that shot probably allows me to stay on glass better. Right. There's other aspects to it, and I feel like, to me, it's the concussion and the blast.
Right.
That I feel more relaxed. So for me, it's and that was honestly the reason I switched over to a suppressor, was that the mental aspect to it is what affected my shot.
Mm-hmm.
So having the suppressor, having that quieter, even though the recoil was more, we'll say it's a push as a pop or whatever, however people describe the difference between a brake and a suppressor.
Right.
It was better for me in the long run, I feel like. And I feel like I've talked about it going back to a brake, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to spend the time, because it's going to take me a while to get back to shooting a brake. And I really do find pleasure in shooting suppressed. And
Yeah.
When we're in a match together, if we're squatted with a bunch of guys shooting suppressed, that's like the best day ever, because
Yeah.
I can leave. I'm not going to have a headache. I'm not going to,
Yep.
I'm going to feel better, because we've talked about that. Like, it, after a day of shooting, particularly if everyone's shooting brakes, you don't realize, but there's micro contractions that are happening throughout your body. There's not only the stress from the competition, but there's that stress. So you can be sore almost to a point. You don't notice it because it's little tiny things, but there's thousands and thousands of shots going off, and your body going ding, 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 just little tiny things. You'll be sore.
Yeah.
You'll notice, particularly if it's your first couple of matches, you might notice that, I'm really sore after this match. It's not that you rucked a lot. It's not you did a lot. It's literally just being around that for an entire day of hearing all those shots going off.
Yeah, and I think it's like mentally exhausting too. Like, you get to the end of a match, and it's like you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like the drive home is brutal especially after a 2-day. Like,
yeah, 2 days, Sunday night,
weekend,
coming home,
yeah,
getting home at 2 in the morning or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I don't know how to quantify that, but I'm sure there's some tax on your brain and your mental abilities.
Yep.
With the muzzle brakes going off constantly. So I'm going to be playing around with the suppressor this year and see how that changes things. Because with the game being so mental, like literally every shot you take, you're making a split-second decision with every single shot. Like you need to see where that bullet goes, and then you make a decision. Like even if you hit the target, I might have hit the right edge. I need to make a decision to put a little more wind on to hit the center. Yep. You're always trying to correct to the center of that target, so that if the wind changes a little bit, you have a little bit more room for error, so that bullet doesn't slip off the edge.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking about what to do for wind. You're thinking about what to do for dope. You're thinking about what to do, like shooting the right target, the right order. The right position. All these different things going on. There's so much to think about in a short amount of time, like that. Any little thing you can do to maintain your mental game is going to be a huge help for your placement.
Now,
So,
I think we talked about this. Do you still shoot one-day matches, or is it almost exclusive? Do you do some one-days still?
Yeah, I backed off some this year. This year was the first year I didn't shoot the Mason-Dixon series.
Okay.
I love that series, but I had to give up something somewhere.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the day.
Right.
Keep shooting.
Yeah, so I work full-time. I do gunsmithing on the side with Beck Built, and I'm trying to compete my main goal is competing in the Pro Series and doing as well as I can there. So,
from a pure enjoyment standpoint, which one you like better, a 1 day or a 2 day?
I don't know. For me, it's like I love to win.
Yeah.
So
it drives you.
Yeah, that's why I do it. I mean, it's almost like a job, but like when you win a 2-day match, like last year I won my first 2-day.
Yeah.
It was like one of the greatest feelings I've ever had. Like it's just awesome.
Take us through those 2 days. What was that like?
So that was the Peterson Cartridge Challenge at MKM.
Okay.
And so I shot really, really well day one. I think first 6 stages, I think I was clean. And then I dropped like 3 the rest of the day. So I was sitting in first place after day one.
Okay.
And first time, well, I guess that was my second time being in first place after day one.
Okay.
In a 2-day. And I think it was the match prior to that up at Sheepdog in New York.
Yeah.
I was sitting in first place after day one and ended up second. Keith Baker passed me up on day 2. Yeah. But so it's like, you're sitting there in first place after day one. There's a little bit of anxiety there.
Yep.
Like, you go into day 2 and you're like, man, I gotta hold on. Like, I've been doing this for 7 years at this point. Like, I want to freaking win a freaking match,
When everyone comes up, because I know how this is, right? So you're first place. Everyone in the next morning's coming up to you, talking to you about it, right? Does that make it harder? Like, that stress is just like elevating because everyone's going like, oh man, awesome job, day one. Like and now you're like, well, now I gotta perform. Everyone knows that I'm in first place. I gotta shoot well day 2.
You got some guys that are like, oh man, you're doing great, keep it up, and then you got other guys that are like, I'm coming for you, just messing with your head,
They want you to screw up. They want to pass you.
But no, I mean, overall, everybody's like, that's one of the things about the PRS. Like, everybody wants everybody else to do well. They want to beat you on your best day, and everybody genuinely wants everybody else to shoot well. I mean, you can only have one winner, but
yeah,
it was like really cool to see. Everybody knew how bad I wanted it.
Yeah,
and everybody was coming up to me after day one, like, man, you got this. Like, keep the hammer down. This is your match. And so day 2, first stage, I think I held the wrong dope or something and missed the target on the first stage. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And I shot well on day 2, but it wasn't as good as day 1. And I'm like, man, I hope I held on. And turns out I did. And it was one of the best times of my life as far as like competitive shooting. It was
Getting that
one of the
first
greatest
win.
feelings I ever had. So it was awesome, and again, everybody was super happy for me.
Yeah.
It's just I've made so many great friends in the sport, and every one of them was like super happy that I finally got my first win. So
I've seen in the sport over the last 7 years that very, very few people have I seen bad incidences, right? I mean, I could probably count hundreds of times of good,
yeah,
and a handful, of times where I've seen some bad stuff.
Absolutely.
Like people are people,
Yeah.
so, right? But for the most part, it is a really, again, like I said, I go to most of these matches just to hang out with friends. I mean, that's
absolutely.
I don't have the time to spend, unfortunately. I wish I could, but to spend that much behind a rifle. I love shooting. I love doing all of it. More power to you. I mean, the dedication it takes. I know what it takes because I know, just from where I'm at and what it would take for me to get to. And I don't think I'm that good a shooter. I could ever be as good as you. And that, so again, good.
I think you could. It's all time. It's all like you have the skills. It's just the time it takes.
Thank you.
I think you could do it.
Boost my ego up a little bit there, just helping me.
But yeah, I think like you said, it's part of it is hanging out with your buddies too. Like we always get an Airbnb. We got half a dozen guys that stay in an Airbnb together, and we hang out all weekend and cut on each other, make fun of each other, and talk about dumb shit and just laugh.
It's definitely
all
a good guys' weekend.
Oh yeah.
And there are women that compete in the sport as well. We should, and there's some amazing women shooters too. I mean, it's not. I'm always amazed at how, not at how well they do, because again, it's another nice thing about this sport because I have 2 daughters. So to me, it was something that if they wanted to compete in the sport, there's nothing. I feel anyway that a man somehow has an advantage over a woman, other than sometimes height. Some of the props and so forth. But I'm short, so to me, it's like I could run into this. And there's guys that are shorter than me. We're not going to mention any names, but there's guys that are shorter than me that you see us on our tippy toes sometimes trying to get up to a certain prop or whatever. But I've always liked the fact that a woman could compete in the sport pretty much, and Allison Zane's definitely proof of that at 16 years old. Being able to be an amazing female shooter. I mean, and forget about it. She's an amazing shooter. I shouldn't even say female in front of it. She's just an amazing shooter. Yeah. Right? In and of her own. And then you couple the age into it.
Right.
Really amazing shooter.
Yep. There's some very good like young guys and young girls in the sport that it's just like it's unbelievable. I mean, she was winning a couple years ago, she was winning Pro Series matches. Beating all the best shooters in the country, and
I remember seeing
girls can shoot in general. Like, it's weird how good they are at shooting. It's like it just comes natural to them.
Yeah.
And, people talk about the ego thing. Like they don't have the ego that guys have, so they'll take advice from people and actually apply it, and it's easier for them, I think, to like they don't have to check their ego. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Again, there's a number of really amazing, and it's always great to see. I think we were talking about it last night. Just you need to bring new blood into the sport, right? So seeing young shooters, to me anyway, I want to see all the shooting sports continue, and if we're not there educating and making it inviting for new shooters, young shooters, and have that path for those shooters to get involved, to have fun, to do all those things, you're not going to have a sport. Right. There's you've seen that happen to like high power and there's different disciplines that are out there that have started to fade away. And not necessarily, it's just there's newer sports that are out there, which is always great too, but I feel like some of those have not done a good job. And trap's probably a perfect one where I feel like trap in shotgun shooting has done a good job pulling in younger shooters. They have so many programs to pull in young scholarship programs and so forth to pull in young shooters. It'll maintain the sport. If you don't do that and you become old, crotchety, whatever shooters and don't want that new blood coming into your sport's going to die.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you're competing against the same guy and the same guys, and then that's going to be the end of it at some point.
Yep.
So it's I think PRS has done a very good job of bringing new shooters into the program. Could they do better? I think anybody can do better, and we should strive to work on that, because honestly, if we want it to grow and we want it to be a bigger sport, because like again, if you're the best out of 100 shooters or you're best out of 5,000 shooters, what gives you more pride? I'd rather be the guy that's the best out of 5,000 shooters, 100,000 shooters, whatever. So the bigger the sport to me, the in a competitive environment, the better you technically are.
Yeah.
Right. If you're the best of, it's funny when some of the guys shoot gas gun, and it to be the best in gas gun in the division, it kind of always seems to be a.
Yeah, you're the best out of like
you're the best out of two guys. There's two guys shooting a gas gun at the match, and you were the best.
Right.
Okay. I'm again not going to name any names.
Lane.
Not gonna
We love you, Lane.
So yeah, we do love. It's all said with love. So how often do you train? Like how often are you getting out to the range with the rifle? I mean, it's hard. You're working a job. You're part-time doing the gunsmithing, and now and then there's this hobby that takes up a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah, it's harder and harder every year, I think. I spend a lot of time making sure every time I put a new barrel on the gun, every time I change a lot of bullets, whatever, if I make any changes, I'm going out and checking my dope at 1,200 yards, just making sure my ballistics are lining up. I mean, you have to have the basics need to be second nature for this sport, so that like all the other things that you have to think about are, you have your full mental capacity to think about that kind of stuff instead of, oh shit, I'm hitting high or I'm hitting low or whatever. So I spend a lot of time making sure every barrel is like shooting accurately. I make sure my ballistics are lining up. So I take a lot of time doing that, and then typically I might go out like once a week and dry fire, because I don't have I have my own 100-yard range on my father-in-law's property. He has a dairy farm. Okay. Which is nice, so I can go shoot anytime. Like I don't have to go to a public range and deal with everybody else. So, I have like a 100-yard range. I can go dry fire. I have like little steel targets, or I just shoot paper or whatever. And I have some barricades and stuff that I practice on. Okay. And that's more for like, just making sure you're moving efficiently. Yep. You kind of develop like an internal mental clock. I mean, I do run a timer on my gun too now, but
I was going to ask you if you run one of those. Do you run is it the MDT?
Yeah, the
timer?
MDT.
That's a cool little thing for training.
Yeah.
You run it in the match, or you run it just for training, or do you
both?
Both. You run it for both.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Kestrel shot timer too that I do a lot of drills with. Like, okay. You can set par times on it. So like I try to do some drills where you try to get in your first position as quickly as possible and take your first shot as quickly as possible, so you have as much time as you can get to finish your stage, right? Yep. So I'll set a par time for like 5, 6, 8 seconds, whatever it is, depending on the barricade I'm working on, or like if I'm doing tripod rear, obviously you need more time to get your first shot off. So I'll set like a short par time and like start the clock, get in position, break my first shot, and try to get under that par time. Under that par time, yeah. Yeah. So a lot of timing stuff that I do with dry fire, just to make sure like my internal clock and my pace through a stage is still dialed in before a match. Like if I don't shoot a match for a month or something, that's how I keep kind of tuned up for shooting matches. Do you find most of your practice you find that you're doing is the matches that you're shooting? Like is that, I mean, it's practical practice. I guess, during the season, I guess would be once you get to a certain point, like when you first start, you have all the stability things to figure out. Like we're shooting off barricades, we're shooting off tree branches and rocks and whatever, right? So you have like the first stage of shooting in PRS is like figuring out how to engage different barricades and how to get the rifle stable so you can actually make an accurate shot.
Yep.
So like once you get past that point of like, give me any barricade, it's almost like there's standing, there's low standing, there's high kneeling, there's low kneeling, and like prone.
Right. Modified prone.
Yeah, like basically different heights of barricades, and once you learn what works for each of those heights and the different types of barricades, at that point, like that's kind of checked off. You got that skill, and then you can move on to time management and
wind.
More like
the finer
learning wind, making good decisions on the clock, and that's where I think like the 1-day series is nice. Like it's way less expensive, and the nice thing about PA is there's probably 6 different ranges within 3 hours of my house that I can go shoot a 1-day match. So I can go to a 1-day match, and then I can get my training on like wind, I can get my training on decision making. Like all that stuff is perishable, and you need to shoot enough matches throughout the year to make sure you're not like kind of falling out of tune or whatever. So I think the 1-day series is great for that, with just having that pressure, having that time on the clock, and forcing yourself to make decisions on the clock. Like that's, once you get to a certain level, that's how you get to the next level. If you can make good decisions, you can read the wind, you can make good like a wind plan before your stage. That's kind of like the skills you need to get to the next level, I guess. Right. So the 1-day series helps a lot with that, I think.
How do you, during that, like I know, because I've shot with you a number of times, and we joke around, right? So we're having a good time out there when we're shooting particularly not when you're shooting, but when you're off. Like and we talked about this again, like last night, there's a significant amount of time that's spent, like it's 90 seconds, maybe whatever, 105 seconds, 110 seconds, something like that that you're actually shooting. Mm-hmm. And then there's sometimes 30 to 45 minutes in between, right, that you're kind of, so 2-part question is really, how do you, because we goof around a lot during that downtime, right? So we're goofing around. How do you stay focused then to know that you're going to come back in and then be locked in for that next stage? Yeah. Right?
So, I mean, when you're done with the stage, first thing I'm doing is getting ready for the next stage, like before I do anything else. So topping off my mag, getting my dope for the next stage, making sure I understand where the targets are, all that kind of thing. And then like once I have all that established, then I can cut it up, hang out with the boys for a while and help spot or whatever. And then like, after 1 or 2 stages, like the order of shooters
and who's coming up against.
It's a routine. Yeah. And so like 3 guys ahead of you, you need to start like making sure everything's ready again, make sure you're focused and you're back the right targets and everything. Yeah. So it's as simple as that. Just make sure you get everything ready immediately. That way you don't forget about it. And then, 2 or 3 shooters before you're up, you like switch off the fooling around and go back to being serious and figuring out what you're doing, and then you're ready to go.
Then you're ready to go. Because we have had some fun times with in between stages of goofing around a little bit, and that's kind of again that's honestly why I go to a lot of these matches anymore. Just for that, the shooting is fun, but I'd rather spend everybody, and then again, like you were saying, the Airbnbs and so forth. I think the last time I was out with you guys was at K&M when we went. You guys had that Airbnb out at the river or something, some river, Kennerdale or something like that.
Oh, you mean at MKM? Yeah.
At MKM, yeah, at MKM. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, you guys are hysterical to hang with. So.
Yeah, we always have a good time.
Find a way to, in the middle of nowhere, where most of these matches are held, to have a good time. So.
Yeah, it's hanging out with the boys is definitely half of the enjoyment of the match.
Yeah.
Like just cutting it up. I mean, you never laugh that much. When you're out with the guys all weekend, it's just constant laughs all weekend. It's just so much fun.
And there are the guys we enjoy that aspect of having fun. There's not everybody, which is a reason sometimes people don't like the 2-day, are that way, right? They're very dialed in during a 2-day, like almost don't talk to me. I'm shooting a match. After a match, before the match, it's not that they're just, they don't break from the routine. It's from the focus, right? The focus stays focused for the 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever you're shooting for that day for that match. It's like they're just dialed in.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've always said. Like the 1-day matches, when you want to joke around, that's the place almost you can, anything goes.
Right.
Because no one's really super, locked in. It's not the level of stress and so forth is not the level that you had during the 2-day matches. But I find you're one of the shooters that's a top shooter that I find, and kudos to you, because most of the top shooters are locked in. They're like, don't talk to me. It's 8 hours. This is it. I'm focused, right? And then you're not that way, which is hysterical. I love it. That's why I like shooting with you. Where it's like, look, no, I find it's great that you can do it, that you can go and shoot amazing, kind of get everything, like you just said, ready, have some fun, and then lock back in. I think a lot of people can't do that, right? That's why they have to stay locked in for 8 straight, whatever, for the whole day, because they can't break that train of concentration of, this is what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Again, not that they're good guys. They're just out there to compete, and they need to keep that mental focus. And it is a super hard thing to keep the mental focus. It doesn't take, like you said, one stage, you make a mistake and you dial the wrong dope, you put the wrong thing down on the card, you don't have the right information down, you read the wrong, how many times, like the match we were at, one of the guys had written the dope down from the next stage, like the pages stuck together, and he flipped over 2 pages and wrote the wrong dope down. It had the same number of targets, so everything kind of matched up, but every dope was wrong, right? So it's 4 targets, okay, 4 targets, and the next page, 4 targets, cool, writes them all down, and nothing is impacting, right?
Yeah.
And you 0 a stage.
Yep. Yeah, it can turn into a dumpster fire real quick.
Yeah.
If you don't have your right dope, whatever. I mean, you're on the clock, and again, your IQ's cut in half as soon as the buzzer goes off, so you miss a target high, and you're like, what happened? It's just, like, you don't have enough time to figure out what the hell's going on and finish the stage. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, I guess it's like in between stages, like if I was like locked in all the entire day, I feel like you'd get exhausted. Like you gotta back off a little bit and just kind of hang out, and I think for me it makes it easier that way.
Yeah.
Just to turn off a little bit. Yeah.
I think you got to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, do what's right for you, and hopefully you enjoy it. I mean, that's honestly had numerous conversations with people that say, like, look, I was talking with Joe on about this, and that you if you're not enjoying it, like even the ride, like even becoming over the last 7 years, that you only get to take this trip once, right? Of being a guy that just started in the sport to the guy that's top of the rankings. You only get to take that trip once, most likely, right? So in that journey of learning all this stuff, and you really want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, what are you really doing it for?
Right.
Type of thing. I mean, it's not like we're competing in the NFL for millions of dollars, or like there's no like big payout type of thing. I mean, there's some money, but there's not to the level of maybe what some of these people may treat it as.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you break even.
Yeah. And the lucky few that it doesn't cost thousands of dollars to compete in this sport, tens of thousands of dollars. What advice do you give to a new shooter? Like, let's say, and you do, right? You have a lot of new shooters that come up to you, and so I'm sure you get to give some of this advice. So what do you tell them?
I think a lot of guys that are trying to figure out how to get better in the sport, like, I think the biggest advice is, you need to write down what you're struggling with. Like, every match, there should be a lesson learned, right? Yeah. So if you have a bad stage, why did you have a bad stage? And then literally write that down in your match book. And that, some guys even keep like a spreadsheet of their entire year's matches. Like, every match I had this issue, this issue, this issue, and you can put points to that or whatever, like however you do it. But
right. And those are the things you work on.
Yeah, it's you have to know what to work on in order to work on it, you know. So I think that's the big thing is if you don't know what to work on, you can't get better.
Do you videotape yourself? Do you ever do like?
Occasionally, but it's. I guess I haven't really used that for improving. I don't think. I guess I have done that a few times when I'm dry firing and stuff, but yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. A lot of guys run like a trigger cam on their scope. I think that's a great point. Like Ryan McCullough was talking about doing that. He's trying to get better at making win decisions. So he actually started watching YouTube videos of people with trigger cams.
Yep.
And like he just puts himself in the mind of that shooter, watches the trigger cam video. Like he'll see them take a shot, see where the round goes. He'll pause the video, and then just like think about, okay, this is where that round went. This is what I need to do for the next shot, and then he'll watch the video and see what that shooter does.
Yep.
And you can kind of practice without even shooting. You know what I mean? So
Andrew Makos used to do a ton of. He doesn't do as much anymore. He used to do a ton of them. I used to love watching those things. Those were great, and the fact that he used to do them he was doing them in the matches.
Yeah.
Right. Live matches. He was setting up his tripod, getting the trigger cam, and then he would compile the video, and it was really great that he did it because you'd go back. I'd love watching those videos of him doing it.
Yeah, he'd put a camera on himself so you could see like his movement and his position,
how he moved, everything.
Yep, and then he'd have a trigger cam video like implanted in that video, and
I've seen very few guys do it during competition though. He was one that was actually doing in competition.
Yeah, because there's so much other stuff to worry about.
Yeah, like you got everything else. Now I got to worry about also videotaping myself.
Yeah.
And he's setting up and he did it all. I mean, and he was still a great shooter. So, again, kudos to that. And I know John Walker's another friend of ours that does a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't necessarily do it on the clock in competitions, but does it to help improve. Again, looking at how long did it, take me to set up necessary, in a position, right? So you're saying, okay, well, I use the shot timer for that 8 seconds, how long did it take me to pull that first shot? But now I can see why did it take me 8 seconds to pull off, or why didn't I get on in 8 seconds? Right? Why did it take me 10 seconds? Oh, well, I remember, when I was first getting taught, it's like, which foot goes forward even to the point.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my right foot, I'm going to walk up, I'm going to take 3 steps, put my bag down, do this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I took a left step, put the bag down with the wrong hand or in the wrong spot, then had to readjust it and do this. Oh, okay. You might not think about that because, again, you hear that buzzer go off and a lot of that stuff kind of goes into fairyland. And now you're like, oh, so being able to videotape yourself, you get to see that like firsthand. Oh, wow, that wasn't such a good move type of thing there.
Yep.
It's one of the things I always wanted to do with a tripod because I'm terrible with rear support.
Oh, are you?
So I feel like if I would have I'd see what I'm doing wrong if I videotape myself.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, well, you're doing this. Like particularly, again, you get to watch guys in competition, you get to see the guys that are doing it like amazing. Like they're just pulling it and doing, it's like they barely move it. It's like ding, ding, ding. And it's like they knew exactly almost to the point of where all the feet were going to sit.
Yeah.
Exactly at every position. And I'm sitting here struggling, like pulling it and then like, oh no, okay, pull it. Oh no, okay, pull it. And time's over too fast. Yeah. It's just too fast of a game to be futzing around with stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't monkey around with it.
So it's always been a struggle for me.
Yeah, like, back to the new shooter advice, that's like dry firing is where you figure all that shit out.
Yeah.
You don't do it in a match. You like guys that don't shoot tripod rear, like I'm not going to shoot tripod rear because I'm not good at it. Well, get good at it because you need it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stages where, like, you can shoot it without a tripod rear, but you're not.
You're so much more successful with.
You're not going to hit all the targets because the barricade may not be stable enough, or the targets are like really small, and if you have any wobble at all, you're going to miss. So, I mean, again, like dry firing is where you figure all that kind of stuff out, and then in a match, that should be second nature. All the stability stuff and getting your tripod in position and all that kind of stuff should be easy, and then you can focus on the hard stuff like making sure your wind calls are good and your dope's right and you're making good decisions on the clock. So that'd be my advice. Like start with dry fire.
Yep.
Get your fundamentals down of getting stable and all that kind of thing, and like, your internal clock of or set your pace for getting through a stage. You can do all that stuff with dry fire.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a match, shooting a bunch of matches is where you learn all the wind calling and the decision making type stuff.
Yeah.
So
where's your favorite range, and then for both shooting and then to have fun? So, and there's a reason that I'm asking and breaking the two down.
So I mean, in Pennsylvania, probably War Rifles is my favorite range to shoot, or the Geisley range.
Yep.
It's very challenging there. The wind's typically a tailwind or a headwind, and he's got a huge
valley
fan of fire, right? So
yep.
you could, you probably have 120 degrees of direction of fire. So if you have a tailwind and you're shooting, you may be shooting over here at one stage and over here, shooting over here at the beginning of the stage, shooting over here at the end of the stage or the middle of the stage or whatever. So you're holding right over here, you're holding left over here, and that is way more dynamic and difficult than shooting down a cut
straight
in the trees.
Straight, square range.
Yeah. So
rectangle, whatever.
Yeah, that's I really like shooting in.
So you like the challenge of that?
Yeah, that kind of separates the men from the boys when you get into situations where the wind is very, it's changing a lot, and you're shooting different directions and everything else. You shoot on square range and everybody's holding 2/10 left. It's there's not a lot of separators there that kind of challenge your different skills and separate the shooters. So I like shooting at Geisley. That's probably my favorite range in PA. I went out to the Hornady PRC match in Utah this year.
Okay.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Big winds. I mean, you're shooting throughout the 2 days. You're literally shooting almost 360 degrees on the range.
On the range, yeah.
So, you're not getting the same thing in every stage. So, it makes it a lot more interesting.
And where's your most fun?
Off
the clock.
I don't know. Pretty much anywhere. I mean,
anywhere Ryan goes, it's a party.
Yeah,
it's just just gonna have a party. Anywhere Ryan's going, it's a party. So just hang out with Ryan, find him on the range, and then just ask him what he's doing.
It's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, I think part of what, in the last couple of years, what I got better at was not partying so much at a match the night before, and then not being hungover for the match.
So maybe that's your advice to new shooter: don't party so hard before the match.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think my mental game has gotten a lot better. In the last couple of years, and I think it's obviously not partying, not drinking the night before, and getting more sleep and all that.
It's also experience, right? I mean, that's honestly the more you shoot, the more repetition that goes through it. You don't have to make so many decisions. Some of these decisions they're subconscious, they're happening subconsciously. You're not even realizing that you're making 18 decisions before you even walked up, but that's just because, like you said, you practice, you know where everything's going to go because I've just done this and I've practiced it, and those are now second nature type things. Now I can focus on the wind and this and that and other, the more critical aspects of the finer elements basically at that point, because the main fundamentals are already ingrained and now in the background type of thing. So
yeah.
So a little bit about gunsmithing. You got into spinning your own barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why would you decide to do such a crazy thing? Crazy
looking
thing.
Back, it's
actually,
holy shit! I spent a lot of money.
That might have not been the best move.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a lathe and I'm gonna save myself money. Said no one ever, right?
Similar experience.
Yeah.
I was just looking for a hobby, but
no, I mean, being an engineer, machining always interested me, and I never had a real reason to spend a whole bunch of money on a lathe or mill or whatever until I got into PRS shooting. You need I go through 4 or 5 barrels a year.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things was just relying on someone, like, needing that many barrels in a year. Like, you have to plan for the lead time involved in getting those.
And it used to be a lot more. I mean, it's gotten far significantly less.
Right.
But I know when I started, one of the reasons it was like 4 months, 4 or 5, maybe 6 months sometimes, to get a barrel.
Right. Yeah. So if you're in a bad spot, like you didn't have enough money to buy another barrel or whatever, and then you're shooting a barrel that's shot out, and you're wasting your time going to matches with a shitty barrel.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was part of it, and I just wanted to do it, right? So I bought a Precision Matthews 1340 and just started learning on my own. Fred Rowe helped me out. He has a 1340, and he kind of showed me the ropes on the lathe. I went down to his house and ran his.
Did you have experience using a lathe prior, No. So you didn't even know how to use a lathe?
I didn't know anything about lathes.
Just say, that's a cool lathe. I'm going to buy that one.
Yeah, like, I mean, really it was Fred talked me into just getting the 1340. He's like, that's what I use. It works great. I was like, well, why go any different lathe, right? I know it's going to work.
Yep.
And I really like it. I mean, the short headstock, I can thread a 16-inch barrel through the headstock on that thing, so it's really nice. It's perfect for gunsmithing.
Yeah. It's
not a huge lathe, but for what I do, it's great. So I bought that. My buddy Paul Cunningham, I started doing the gunsmithing at his shop. So he wanted to start like a laser shop, do laser engraving.
Okay. And
I was like, all right, well, I'll help you do the laser engraving, and we'll do gunsmithing too, and we'll build rifles. So that's kind of where I got my start, and it just kind of grew from there. Obviously, doing barrels for people all over the country now, and I got into doing 22s, and obviously centerfires first, and then I got into doing 22s. Do 22s for people all over the place. I bought a Haas TL2 about 2.5 years ago. Started running a CNC lathe, and that's been huge for output as far as getting more barrels out.
Yep.
People argue about whether CNC is better or manual's better. I don't think either's better. It's just
speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes down to speed.
Yeah,
that's the reason we increased here. We went to a TL2 as well. It simply just comes down to you can do it faster.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's less. I want to say less thought that goes into it because the machine's going to take some of that out. So running the half nut and so forth is taken out. You don't have to, and it can do it. A computer obviously can do it better than you could ever run it, and faster than you could ever run it. But from an accuracy standpoint, a manual is going to make just as good a barrel as a CNC is going to make. There's literally, when it comes down to it, I feel like it's dialing it in and cutting the chamber. And if those two things are really done well, which both machines can do, they're both going to have, you're going to have a shooter.
Yeah, absolutely.
On your hands, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's all in the setup of the lathe too, making sure your reamer holders, dialed in concentric with your spindle, and your barrel's dialed in concentric with your spindle, and everything. That's the basis of it. Making sure everything's dialed in right. You can set up a CNC lathe. If you set it up wrong, you're going to get a shitty barrel. If you set up a manual lathe wrong, you're going to get a shitty barrel. So, to me, it doesn't really matter the process. It's just the speed at which you can do it.
Right.
And you got to pay attention, like check your work. Like that's the big thing. Every barrel you do, when you're done, borescope it before it comes out of the lathe. Check run out before and after. All those things, just to make sure something didn't move while you were cutting it, whatever. It's the same process for both types, but it's checking your work, attention to detail, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
I can't say that I miss it.
No.
No. I don't know why. I mean, I loved doing it when I did it. I don't think I've done it in I don't even know, maybe 4 years it's been since I spun a barrel. Yeah, it's been a long time. Like it would definitely, you would not want the barrel that I would spin at this point. Probably. If I were to spin your, like, yeah, that's not the one you want.
Yeah.
Dan did that one? Yeah, I'm just gonna take that one over here. You definitely want Braxton doing your barrel.
Yeah.
Not me.
Did you ever do any on the CNC, or were you always manual?
No, I did it because so I did it originally. Did them on the. I had a Grizzly lathe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's originally what I started on and learned on, and then we moved over to the CNC to the Haas. I want to say it wasn't long after we had the Haas that Braxton started here, and as soon as he came on board, almost I would say within a month, basically took over. Because I was doing it kind of like you. I was doing it on the side. Mm-hmm. And then we got to a point that I needed somebody full time, and I didn't want to do it on the side anymore. I had another business at the time and was running that, and wanted to get some time back. So obviously hiring him allowed me to get that time back and produce more barrels faster, basically. So yeah, it's been quite some time since but I did work on the our engineer helped us with all. I'm not an engineer, so basically our engineer helped us with all the programming, design of all the different actions, all the different tenons, and so forth. And then I spun them for a very short period of time, a couple months probably before Braxton took over 100%.
Gotcha.
And started doing all the chambering of the barrels. So yeah, it's like I said, it's been some time. I forget. Like I think if I had to dial in a barrel now, I mean, we might be here for the day. Dialing that barrel in.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, I would say that's also a diminishing skill. I would say.
Yeah.
That because once you start doing them and you can dial them in pretty fast normally, if you haven't done it in a while, it's gonna be a chore.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I always find, because again, we're always about accuracy and trying to build that best accuracy, that rifle. Have you, when you're chambering a barrel, has there been one? I love to hear the stories of a barrel that you just had a nightmare with, like you don't have to say a brand name or anything, just
So
what the issues were, why it was a problem.
So I did a 350 Legend one time. Guy wanted it lightweight. He was building a hunting rifle, and it shot like shit. Like I actually shot it before it left. And it was probably 1.5 to 2-inch gun, and the barrel I bought, the blank I bought, was a 750 taperless. So it was like 1.2 shank, and then it tapered. You know, you had like a palm of taper down to 750, and then 750 all the way to the muzzle. Mm-hmm. It was fairly big bore size, 350 Legend. So the barrel wall thickness wasn't super big, and I think it was a button rifled barrel, and I think when they contoured it, the bore opened up because of stress relief, and so right away I'm like, I kind of suspected this might happen with this barrel anyway, so I actually slugged it. So you put a lead slug in the barrel and like push it down the bore.
Kind of find for tight spots, loose spots throughout and you mark the distance.
Yeah, so I slugged it, and when I was pushing the slug from the muzzle back to the breech, it was like I hit a wall right there at the point where it tapered down. And I was like, wow, that's probably it right there. So I lapped that barrel and lapped it to where you couldn't feel that transition anymore from the full shank to the 750 part, and it went from like a 2-inch gun to like 3/4 inch gun with a 350 Legend. I was like, that'll work. It's just a hunting rifle, you know what I mean? So that was one I was able to figure out. I've had a couple that just would not shoot, and I'm just like, it's not worth my time anymore. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it, but just send it back. I'll get you a new one. And it happens sometimes.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I was trained by Gordy Gritter, and he told me about a story once that it was a barrel where the bore, I forget how far out of line. So if you looked at the barrel from the muzzle end, the bore was way off, like so that this thing's curving basically. So when they drilled it, it just was a curve.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up doing the barrel anyway, sent it to the guy, and the guy said, "This is the best barrel I've ever had." And he thought this guy's calling him back to tell him, "Yeah, this is barrel shit, right? I want spin me a new one."
Yeah.
And he says the best barrel. So it's funny how like you would think certain things I mean, obviously there you have like a mass. So, and Gordy would always time his rifles up typically. So
Yeah.
if it did have any sort of curvature to the bore, it's at least timed up.
Yeah.
Because there you're not having to worry. In the older scopes, you could run out of windage, right? So if you timed it and it was to the right or something like that, and the bullet's technically coming out slightly to the right from straight on, you'd end up with running out of windage on your scope, and you couldn't actually get a zero. So he would always time them up and down, which is what he had done on this one. But he said it didn't matter on like certain things like are super critical, and other things aren't, and then other things are just you don't know. I mean, because we don't deal with the metallurgy, the stress relieving, right? We get a barrel, it's already rifled and so forth, and basically we're chambering that barrel. We're not responsible for the barrel up until that point. What we can fix is like you said, you can slug it, lap it to get that and hone the bore in, so that basically the bullet's not encountering any speed change or any friction change, right, as it's going out of the rifle. So that's where the only part that really beyond chambering that we can take care of, like fix after. Like I can't re-stress relieve and go do more with the barrel. Wouldn't even be worth it at that point. Like you said, just get rid of the barrel and start over again and take whatever comes type of thing.
Yeah. I've seen barrels that, like, I did a rimfire barrel one time. It looked like a gravel road inside that barrel. Like I bore scoped it and I was like, this thing is trash. Like, and it was actually already chambered by somebody else, and he was having issues with it, so he wanted me to rechamber it, and he said it shot awesome. I'm like, I can't believe it shoots worth a shit, because that bore looked horrible in there. I mean, it was like
it shouldn't have shot. It should not have done what it was doing.
Like tool marks, and I mean, it looked terrible, and it shot great. So I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I mean, that's the way it is with a lot of things in precision rifle. Like, you know, you think there's all these things that matter, right? Like cleaning primer pockets or whatever it might be, and you stop doing it. Like I don't anneal my brass. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta anneal. You
never anneal? How many firings do you go through before, 15. Like kind of 15 firings, and you never anneal? Yeah. Or if it cracks, I'm assuming it's garbage at that point.
I've never had brass fail, but like I don't anneal when I get 15 firings out of it, and I've tested like annealing versus not annealing, saw no difference in numbers or accuracy, so I'm like, why am I doing it? You know, so there's all of these, like...
Whose brass are you using? Give a shout out to Lapua brass. Yeah, Lapua brass. Good. If you use good brass, I find that's the better the brass, the quality of the brass, and so forth. That there's because if you weren't using Lapua, using some other off-name brand type thing, like I can guarantee you probably wouldn't get 15 firings out of it.
Yeah, probably
It'd
not.
be cracking after 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that you know, somebody found that, oh, I did this one thing one time and my groups went from such and such to such and such, you know, cut my groups in half, so this must be the thing. Well, maybe you changed something else that you didn't even realize, and then all of a sudden now you're chasing this thing that doesn't even matter. You know, there's all these myths in the precision rifle world. I think that people chase that
the myths that
don't
exist.
Freaking matter. You know, and I think it's the same way with barrels. Like sometimes you think, you know, certain things are so important, and then you find a barrel that, like that one with the shitty bore, and you wouldn't think it would shoot, but it does, and it's, you know, it's like, why?
I think some of the myths come from, and we were talking about this before, the technology and the way that we make barrels today versus 20 years ago, 50 years ago. Those myths existed 50 years ago. They were correct 50 years ago. They were things that had to be done. One of it's like barrel break-in. Like look at the barrel routine that some of these barrel manufacturers say. With the way that barrels are made and the steel and the quality and everything else that's made today, most of that has gone by the wayside. You don't need to do the same type of things that you had to do on a barrel that was 20 years ago and 50 years ago and so forth. That there's still shooters out there that are like, oh no, I shoot it 5 times and I clean it, then I shoot it 5 times and I clean it, and I'm like, yeah, I go out and shoot my rifle for like 50 rounds, I'll clean it, and then I'll shoot it for another 150 and I'll clean it, and then I'm good to go. Like then I'm gonna go put whatever foul the bore, and I'm just that rifle's good. Then I'll clean it. When Joe was here, he was saying I clean it when the rifle tells me, which is a good, you know, if you take the rifle out before a match or something like that, you shoot it, it groups well, doesn't need to be cleaned, right? Now, if you have 2,000 rounds on it, you know, maybe not the best thing, but if you don't want to take out a rifle that's had 2,000 rounds and you never cleaned it.
Yeah.
But you clean it when it needs to be cleaned, right? And again, I feel like you can, Johnny's a perfect example. I think he scrubs the crap out of his barrel right before every match, like just as a and it works well for him. If it works well for you, do it. You know, if it
100%.
doesn't work well for you,
everybody has their own formula. I mean,
there isn't necessarily a one path.
Yeah,
you
ask 10 different guys, you're going to get 10 different answers, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I've gone more towards cleaning more often than I used to. I don't clean between day 1 and day 2, but I do clean before a 2-day. Like, I might shoot 2 1-days or 3 1-days without cleaning, but if I'm going to a 2-day, I'm going in with a clean barrel and maybe 50 rounds on it, 100 rounds at the most. And I think if you keep up with it, you get less copper fouling and carbon buildup in that barrel. It's easier to get clean in between matches.
100%.
So, it's...
It might extend barrel life. That might be something. Like if you said, hey, I want to extend my barrel life, it's not an accuracy thing. It's more like, hey, I want to get 2,500 rounds, 3,000 rounds out of this barrel, not 1,500 rounds, 2,000 rounds out of this barrel.
Right.
If you clean it more often, you want to prevent fire cracking and so forth in the barrel, and the ability to clean it without having to sit there for 2 hours scrubbing it down and trying to get the carbon and the copper. Because you're never going to get all the copper out, but at least the carbon out. So that's another thing that we were talking the other day about. MPA had a post that they did about somebody who sent the gun back, one of their DS9s back, and they're like, yeah, it's not just cycling every time and so forth. And the gun's like, they take it apart, it's like it's never been cleaned. It's got carbon just falling off as they're taking it apart. It's hysterical. And then they clean it, and the thing just is perfect, right? It runs perfect, right? Yeah. And you're like, you got to clean these things, right? The question just is, again, how often, right? And then what are you trying to get out of it, type of thing. So,
yep,
that's cool. If you were if you had to put it to, it's always hard, but like, what was a fun stage that you got to shoot that you really loved? This is the stage I love to shoot at a PRS match. This is cool. I love doing this, or maybe it was unique and you've never shot it before in another match, and that's a stage.
I don't know. I like the stages at war where you're shooting like the whole way across the range.
Having that movement, the target movement from left to right, spanning.
Yeah, and that was like at the finale. That was like every other stage.
Yeah. Well, Drew's got the range for it.
Yeah.
Fortunately for him, that he's able. Not every range can do that, right? Sometimes you just don't have the ability.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a huge challenge. Like, you got this tailwind, and like I said before, you're holding right over here and left over here, and everywhere in between. You got to blend that in as you go, and they're all at different ranges too. So you might be shooting 500 here, 1,000 here, and 600 here, or whatever. So you got the range component, you got the wind direction component. It just makes it really difficult, and it's like when you nail a stage like that. That's a good feeling.
You know you're on.
Yeah, like it.
So the one that I think it's at Drew's or Geisley's range, is the spools, because he typically does that right on the spools. So you're shooting. Yeah. Sometimes it's more up and down, but a lot of times it goes left to right as well. Mm-hmm. He changes it up a little bit, but that's a fun stage. And there's a lot of movement. I like that you're moving a direction, right? And you have to kind of go down, and there's a time component that's involved with getting there and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's been a stage that, like at this point I've shot, I don't know how many stages I've shot in my career, so it's like there's not really many things that are different, I guess.
Right.
Like completely different that I've never done before.
I've always liked the bars too.
The truing bars?
The truing bars.
Yeah. That's challenging.
That's a challenge. It's a fun stage. I just find like it's a challenging stage, but it's also you definitely have to watch. Like that is literally the whole point behind that, is being able to spot where the shot hits or misses. Yeah. Right, and make a correction on it. Right.
And that's the that really tests your how good your dope is. I mean, you like truing bars, you have one vertical, one
horizontal,
45 degrees, and then you have one perfectly horizontal, and they're like 6 inches tall at like 650 yards or something. So, the vertical one, you're obviously testing your wind calling abilities and spotting shots. So, basically it's like 2/10 wide,
Right.
600 yards, and there's no room for error there at all. So if you miss, you got to see where it went. And then the 45 one, like your dope and your wind call has to be right.
Has to be perfect.
And then you go to the horizontal one, and your dope better be money, or you're missing that thing.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a test.
Yeah, I like that stage.
Of your ballistics, for sure.
I typically do terrible on that stage, but I like that stage. It's one of the stages I actually do very, very poorly on typically. Yeah. And I always miss, like, I'm just missing by a hair.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that one where we do it at Drew's range, it's got, you're doing it off the spools, which spools are typically pretty stable, but I still shoot at tripod rear because, like, I can spot better. It's a little bit more stable. It's almost like shooting off a bench.
Yeah.
And that's what you need when you're shooting a target that small. So
the other match, I don't know that I ever shot it, but down at K&M, he's got 2 movers. I like that. So he's got 2 movers that are going. You have to transition between the 2, and I think then you also go to a KYL at one point, whatever stage I'm thinking about that we shot. So it was like you shot the KYL, and then you went mover, 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 mover. It was like 5 shots at the movers type of thing, 5 shots at the TYL. That was fun because you had 2 different distances, and they look. They're going different speeds. They're the same speed. It's just the distance that they're going. So it's kind of messes. It's a mental. I always like anything that's a mental type of game.
Yeah.
That kind of messes with your mind a little bit. Like, oh, the hold should be different. Well, no, it's moving at the same speed. It doesn't matter if it's 300 yards or 500 yards or 600 yards, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same hold.
Yeah, you would think you would need more.
Yeah, you need more. You don't.
Not really.
Yeah, so it's an
maybe
interesting.
1/10 at the most.
Yeah.
Yep.
I find that 2 movers on the same stage is a fun stage.
Yeah.
I always look at that stuff. I used to do a lot more match directing. I don't get to do it as much anymore. But when I was doing it, coming up with, I know Garrett and I, a friend of mine, we're friends. We would spend hours on the phone just talking about, like, creating stages and what we could do and what would be challenging, not gimmicky. My whole point behind a match director is I want to be challenging to the shooter. I don't want to be a gimmick to the shooter. I don't want it to be. I've shot too many stages that are a match director, and this is my advice to a match director: is if you're planning a stage, a good stage is not going to be a gimmick. It needs to be challenging.
Yes.
Right, and there's a fine line that sometimes that goes between the two, but a good stage will not be a gimmick, but it will be challenging. And that if you're out there and thinking about becoming a match director, designing stages, that's really what you look for. That will make a good stage.
Yeah, that's something I've never done.
You don't? Oh yeah, you've never done that?
Directed a match, no.
Oh, all right, we'll get Joe to make sure that we get you on the list for next year.
It's just like, it's one of them things where, like, I barely have time to sleep right now. So, like, to add something else to the plate, it's like, oh my God, can't even do it.
I want to talk about, this will be our last topic, I guess. Talk about SHOT Show. We're going to SHOT Show next month. It's December now. We're January 2026 is going to be our SHOT Show. It's a massive show. It's almost overwhelming. I always find every year I go, I almost after the first day, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a big show.
It is.
I mean, honestly, I personally went to Vegas for security, for my previous business, security business, and we had a big show, and I thought that was a big show. And then I walked into SHOT Show, and SHOT Show, like, dwarfs it. Like,
it's amazing. I love SHOT Show.
We have a good time. It's in Vegas, so we have a good time. Vegas is always a good, well, it's a good time. You can definitely get into some trouble in Vegas. So anybody that's on their way to Vegas, just be mindful.
Yep.
Don't gamble drunk.
And remember, Vegas always wins.
Vegas always wins. Stays in
Ask
Vegas.
me how I know.
Stays in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Except for when we're at dinner, rehashing the entire event that happened, talking about how fun of a trip it was. Do you when you go out, because you do it for both jobs technically, anything particular that you go out when you're out there looking, like for the show itself?
Yeah. So at my day job, I work for CTC, Current Technologies Corporation. So it's basically an R&D engineering company. So we do a bunch of stuff for military applications. And we actually have a patent on a MIM cartridge case. So
Okay.
metal injection molded cartridge case, 17.4 stainless. And so there's all kinds of specialized tooling for doing that kind of stuff. So we like to go to the supplier showcase and talk to suppliers that, we have a lot of carbide tooling that we use for forming the cases and stuff. And so supplier showcase is a big thing for us. I obviously like going for my gunsmithing stuff too.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of companies out there doing reamers. Like last year I learned Kennametal's doing reamers, like carbide reamers.
Yep.
Chamber reamers, didn't know that. I think Kurt Ives is using some of those now.
Is he?
Yep.
SGS makes them as well. I think they will make them. There's another. Again, the gunsmithing business is so big. I don't think people really can comprehend. Most people, I still feel like I can't comprehend how big the industry is.
Oh yeah,
it's
crazy.
Such a massive industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and part of it is you go out and like, there's people that you don't even know are there, and you run into them, and you're like, they can help me with whatever, right? So there's an educational piece to it. There's just stuff there that you had no idea existed, or people that you'll run into and you'll meet and you'll end up using them for whatever. We've met several people at SHOT Show that were pretty instrumental in some of our efforts at CTC.
Yeah.
And so, it's a great show to make connections. And, like now that I've been there so many times and there's so many people that go that I shoot with, and, obviously you're going out and kind of hanging out with your buddies too. So it's obviously a blast. You're in Vegas, you're going out gambling and drinking and everything else. So
that's all we do is gamble and drink. We do nothing.
No
I swear to everybody, there's nothing else that goes on. We go to the show, we're there for 8 hours, and then we go and gamble and drink. That's all we do.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a great time. I like going to SHOT Show. And it's the biggest gun show on the planet. Like, how can you go wrong there?
It is an industry show, so if you're in just a civilian or someone that it's not a show for the general public. It's not a general public show. You must be within the industry, but it is. If you are within the industry, it's a phenomenal show. It's put on by National Sport Shooting Federation, NSSF. It's a great organization. We're a member. They do a lot of great things, helping us with the overall business and everything. So it's a great organization. I'm really a big fan of what they do and support. Even the child safety. I forget exactly what it's called. Sorry, it's escaping me. But phenomenal, charitable organization and so forth. So I'm always glad to support that organization and go there. So, I think that it's fun to go. It's an amazing size that you just really can't even kind of fathom how big it is. Again, I go there every year and still come away with the same thing of how can it be this big? How can there be so many different manufacturers, booths, and so forth? And it's a great industry. I feel like I'm very proud to be a part of.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The gunsmithing, the firearms industry in general. It's definitely a passion.
Absolutely.
Of mine, and very happy to be a part of it. So
yeah, it's amazing the technology. Like you go out and see different new things every year, just pushing the limits of how things are done.
Yeah,
manufacturing technology is growing like crazy. It's really cool to see, like 3D printed suppressors and stuff. Like they're just, the geometry inside those suppressors now is like there's no limit to it. Whatever you can think of, you can make now. So it's just amazing to see all the different things that are possible now with all the new technology and manufacturing techniques.
That's really what you and I I think that's what, beyond the shooting aspect of it, what draws me to the business side to it is the engineering, the ability to make things that are just unbelievably, the tolerance that's held and the quality that's held on everything. We have our new CMM machine, and I think we were going over this and just talking about it, how absolutely amazing the what we strive for out of the accuracy and the quality of what we're producing, and the tolerances that we're trying to hold over certain things, and always trying to excel and be better and make it better so that we can get finite little improvements, right? It's like most rifles shoot so well anymore, and it's like now we're just like every little bit we can squeak out.
Yeah, if you can make a 50,000 smaller group, people pay for it.
Right? It's like I just need this much more.
Yeah,
and then there's all the little accessories that go along with it that everyone tries to improve on, and I think that's really because when I've been out, I've trained some of the SWAT teams and so forth, and when you do that, it's amazing that you're just introducing them to like bags, the Armageddon gear. We just did a contract, and they had never shot with one of the Game Changers before, and I put them on that, and these guys are like their minds are blown.
Oh yeah,
right. And I can't even imagine going to a match without one.
It's crazy that like the law enforcement side and the military side, like I think they need to pay more attention to the PRS world and in the precision rifle world. There's so much gear that helps you make a super accurate shot. I mean, you have a 200 round match, a lot of them are won with missing 5 shots. 10 shots out of 200 on like any range inside like 1,100 yards. You're missing 5 shots out of 200. In a dynamic situation with crazy winds and everything else, it's unbelievable what we can hit. Like the targets we can hit and the conditions we hit them in. I mean, it's a whole different world as far as like, we're not doing life or death things, but
but they are, and then we have better equipment than they do most of the time.
Right.
Unfortunately, I would love them to have all the equipment. I want them to have the absolute best equipment and the everything that we have. Unfortunately, one of the SWAT teams that we just trained is getting a number of rifles from us and the suppressors and the bags and the tripods, or I'm sorry, not the bipods, because they came up and they just they got a chance to go out and field test all this stuff and just were blown away by the even like we were talking earlier. One of the biggest things that they had never done was rear support. And I was teaching them about rear support, and I'm by no means an expert on it, but they had never even thought about using their tripod for rear support. And we set them up and started going through with them how to get stable and how to do this. And they're like, "This is a game changer. This is literally, if we have to take a shot from a certain position, this is making us stable in that position. Whereas before, if you're freehanding it or so forth, and it's not as much of a guarantee as when you're using rear support. So those type of things, it's great that the civilian side is actually hopefully helping to give them the ability to make better shots when needed, just because we're playing a game.
Yeah, I mean, you're pushing the limits of everything. Like you're trying to get 1 or 2 shots a match. Typically is what separates the winner from second place. Or tied. I mean, there's lots of matches that are you tie. And so if you can get 1 or 2 more hits, that's huge. So, I mean, like Ryan and I shoot a couple sniper matches every year, and like we'll set up tripod. Like we can do tripod front and tripod rear. So you put the front of the rifle on one tripod, put the back of the rifle on another tripod, and then you're shooting off a bench. And you can hit anything. So,
why not make it easier?
Right. If you have time to do it, that's the thing. Like, you may not have time to do it, but if you do, you can get as stable as you want with a couple tripods.
Oh, well, great. I appreciate you coming in today.
No problem.
It's been hopefully it's been enjoyable for everyone, and it's been a fabulous time talking with you and getting to just kind of shoot the shit of what we get to do on a weekly basis, both in competition shooting and manufacturing as well. So I really appreciate it. For everyone out there, please remember to like and subscribe to all of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, so we can keep producing all this great content. Thanks, guys.